So a new crypto project captures your eye, maybe from a crypto broker, you heard it from your friend, or you just heard it on an article in general, and you hear the news. As always, do your own research. However, I just feel like channels don't really make it clear. What does it mean to do your research? What do you even look at when you're looking at a new coin? In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I do research in a coin. I'm going to physically show you myself doing research in a coin called Sonic. Some of the stuff I'm looking at and what you can do, and you can follow along with me in researching a coin. So you've decided you found a new coin. First thing I'll do is go to CoinGecko, link in the description below. It's basically a place with the whole library of your main coins, altcoins and all that, and you can do your research and have a look at them. So this is the main page. When you enter, you simply search your coin, which for me, I'm going to be looking at Sonic. You can search it up and click on it, and you will be able to have a look at the general detail. So you're going to see a lot of scary numbers. The first thing every retail investor will look at straight away is the price, and they'll see that big scary number, 17% down. Relax. You just want to take it slow and have a look. So the first thing you should do is scroll down, and this is my first tip for the video, is have a look at the website. This is the first place to start whenever you're looking at a coin. So I'm on the website right now for Sonic Labs, and the main point of having a look at a website is basically to get rid of any major red flags. You're basically trying to find out if it's kind of a scam or if the coin itself is basically fraudulent. The website isn't going to be the sell point for the coin, and basically to confirm if you want to buy it, but it's going to basically get rid of any major issues. So you're looking for any kind of spelling errors, anything that looks dodgy about the site. Is it clean? Is it good? Is it professional? And you can kind of get some early signs and get rid of any red flags. For me, when I look at this site, it looks extremely professional, well done, no kind of spelling errors, and I can learn a few basic things about what the coin is. So I know straight away for a start, it's a layer 1 coin. It uses DeFi, which is decentralized finance, and it combines speed, incentives, and world-class infrastructure. So I'm just trying to get some basic information down. The next thing you can do is look at the white paper, which is basically a document made by the creators of the coin, and they're telling you everything they want about the coin, about the objectives, about how it works. And it gets very complex in terms of all the details. They include some scary equations and all that, and kind of get a bit weird. But don't stress. Basically, what you're going to be looking at is what are the main objectives of the coin and what is it trying to do. As well as that, the white paper is basically kind of a marketing scheme. They're trying to be biased, and they're trying to show everything that's good about the coin, and you need to take it with a pinch of salt. So what you're looking for when you're looking at the white paper is, do they have any unrealistic objectives? What are they talking about? And if what their goal is of the coin sounds kind of stupid, that's another red flag. So I'll show you what the white paper looks like. So here's the Sonic white paper, and there's quite a few outputs that I got from it. However, the main thing I will look at whenever I'm looking at the coin is essentially the objectives of the coin. So the initial objectives are over here, and the main output was this image here. So success for them equals transactions times cost per transaction minus total cost to incentivize validators. In short, basically what these guys want is as many transactions as possible on their network. So I understand that in order for them to do well, they want to have plenty of people on their network using their services. And that's what they're looking to build. They're trying to build demand and be able to support developers. Now, I've also got a few other notes on what I found. So I found out as well, they fund the developers a lot. So any kind of network fees they have go to developers. So I know they're putting a lot of time into having good talent on their systems and people developing. They're a layer 1 based system, which means they're similar to the likes of Solana and some other layer 1s. We do not compare to Bitcoin because that's kind of in its own area. and it aims to revolutionize the blockchain industry by providing a next generation layer 1 platform that combines speed, scalability, and security. So you're looking at this and you're trying to find out what is the general goal, and as well as some basics about who they are. Because when you find out details like the fact that they're a layer 1 network, they're fast, that's one of their goals, you can start to compare them to other kind of coins on the market and see where they sit. Number 3, and the third thing I look at, is the team. So I'm trying to see any kind of leadership in the coin that has experience in the crypto space and basically have done well in the past. So what you can do is basically you can look these people up on LinkedIn, you can look them up on YouTube and see if they've spoken in the past, what they think about the coin, why they think it's going to be successful, and if you see this leadership has good experience behind them, it can be even more reason to invest in it. So the reason I looked at Sonic was this guy here, Andre Cronch, and he has a pretty strong background behind him in terms of Yearn Finance, and it was this coin that did really well in the DeFi space. And initially, when it first came out, in a matter of a few months, it went from 0 to 40,000 and was actually higher in value than Bitcoin. So this guy has some experience behind him. He's extremely intelligent and he's putting a lot of work into Sonic Lab. So I know that this is a space which is going to be good for him, and I know that they've got some good developers behind them, and it's another tick for me. But what you're looking for is look at these guys and research what they've done in the past. Have they worked at any other crypto spaces? Do they have any periods of success? Have they had any failures? Have they been involved in any scams in the past? So these are things you want to consider. The other thing of note, which I've seen in the past with other alternate coins, is you'll see some developers that are anonymous in nature. They prefer not to reveal themselves. Maybe it's for previous past issues, or maybe it's just for security purposes. In general, it's probably a no-go when you see any kind of anonymous people behind the coin, because you just don't have the information available to make a conclusion. It just puts a bit of risk behind it. But it's just something to note. So number 4, we're going to be looking at if the coin's on any major exchanges and some basic stats behind the coin. I want to look at if they're on any major exchanges, because that proves if it's got some legitimacy. Because if it's not on these major exchanges that are able to buy these coins, then I know it isn't as trustworthy, and it just makes me a bit nervous, and it means the coin's still a bit new to go into. So what I'll do is, back on CoinGecko, link in the description below, I'll scroll down, and what we'll see is in the Sonic markets, you will see, and every coin has this, the exchanges that you can buy on. And there are certain exchanges I'm looking for. I'll name them now. So I'm looking for Binance, which is on there. I'm looking for MEXC, which is also good. I'm looking at BitGet, and the other one was FTX, which I believe was on there as well. So you can have a look, but the main one you want to look at is Binance and MEXC. When you've got them both on there, it means at least it has some reputation behind it. Doesn't guarantee that it's not a scam, but it means it's backed by a legitimate source. And you can also see the volume of trading that's happened on there. High volume is always good because it means a lot of people are in the area, the network is working well, and people are trading. The other thing I'm going to look at is I'll start going over the numbers in basics. So we'll scroll back up. Is we will have a look at basically what is the 24-hour trading volume and what is that compared to the market cap of it. So what I'm looking to see is the overall value of the coin similar or in relation to the amount that's been traded. This is important, especially if a coin like Sonic, it has the objective of, being able to have a lot of transactions. So I want it to be having a lot of trading volume. And we can see that in terms of percentage of trading volume compared to the overall market cap, it's pretty high. In fact, it's almost about 2, 4, 6, 8. It's almost about 20%. So it means that the numbers are doing very well. That's very high. So what you're looking at is a percentage for 24-hour trading volume to market cap of around about 2 to 10%. This is very high, which means there's a lot of activity and a lot's been happening in the network lately. So we know that this coin is having a lot of trading and that things are going well, and it's at least healthy enough. The fifth thing I'm looking at in the coin is the market sector. So remember when we looked at the white paper of the coin, we found out the objectives of the coin, how it functions and what it does. Now we're going to consider basically what utility does it have in the market. So we're considering, does this coin add anything new that doesn't already exist? So I've got to research, what does this coin have that other coins don't? Is it that special, or are there already big coins that do what it does? So a cool little way to do that is basically go to the About section and you want to copy and paste all of this. And then you can use basically a ChatGPT prompt I've put below. And what it says is, what does this do that other coins don't do? And you're able to compare side by side what this does with other big coins. Me personally, I've got knowledge in this field. I know that other coins that are similar to it is the likes of Solana, because it also is a layer 1 coin that moves quickly. Another method you can do if you don't want to use the ChatGPT method, however, I don't believe it's super accurate, is if I scroll down, you can see some similar coins to it. So related coins you may like, and you can see some there. However, I don't feel that's that accurate. So that's in a similar coin section. You can click up there. I don't feel like these coins relate to Sonic that much, I'll be honest. But I want to look at basically some coins that are layer 1. So they work similar to that, and they focus on high transaction speeds, because that's the two main things that Sonic is really focused on. So here were some notes I had. So where Sonic's different is, firstly, its overall performance, 400,000 transactions per second. It far exceeds the next best, which is Avalanche, and as well as it's faster than Solana. However, it's not been able to prove that because it's not had the network demands yet. So that's something that's got a question mark over it. The other thing it's got really quick finality. It's able to do transactions in almost millisecond amounts of time. It's quicker than the other ones. And as well as that, the other thing I noticed is the transaction fees go straight to the developers. So I know they're rewarding developers for their work, and it's something I like compared to the other coins. So do your research, see if this offers anything else. If it doesn't offer any other utility compared to these other coins, the next question you need to ask is it going to do that utility better than the other coins? Is it going to be able to outperform it? Because you got to understand, Sonic is a much smaller coin than Solana. Solana's already got its network and it's already certified. Sonic's going to need to do really well to be able to catch up to these other ones. It's made mistakes in the past from research, and you need to consider that when you do your research. 6, does the coin have any kind of partnerships or integrations? At the end of the day, what makes these coins strong is their network. Who's involved in them, who's interested in it, and who's investing in the coin. So I want to look at basically what coins or what companies are investing into Sonic and have interest in it. And you can look at websites, you can do your research and see who's integrating with it. You can also see it on the website. They'll tell you some integrations, and there'll also be rumors of new partnerships that are forming, and that's what can get them hype in the coin and make the prices go up. So there are a lot of DApps that are working with Sonic, and develop these DApps basically work on top of the network and make it easy to use the coin, like an app basically for a game or anything like that. And you can see, okay, who's interested in this system. So we can see that Silo Finance has some interest in Sonic, and I can look at basically who else has got interest in the network. So the main partnership news that I'm getting right now from Sonic is they have some small partnerships going. But there are rumors that they're trying to get into the treasury market and into the NASDAQ, basically trying to get into the American market and being able to convince American government and investors to back the coin. And when you've got major institutional investment like this, it can make it go up. However, from looking at these partnerships and integrations, it's a massive bet. I'm betting on Sonic to be able to get these partnerships sorted, and there's a lot of unknown, and that makes the investment as a whole a lot more of a gamble. I don't know if these partnerships are going to form, and what usually happens is if these partnerships fail, then they have to regroup and try something else, and it usually slides the price back down again. So I kind of know now from what they've currently got that this is a massive bet. Despite how good their performance is, I understand that they haven't got any major partnerships. So look at your coin. Are there any major banks that they have a partnership with? Any governments? Any kind of companies or anything like that? Also, make sure these claims are legit. You can see sometimes on websites that they will have a supposed partnership, but it won't be legit. And the way you can also check is go on social media, see their Twitter, their Instagram. Sometimes they're usually on Telegram and Discord as well. And just double check, are these partnerships legit? Because especially the really scammy ones, they'll basically fake these partnerships with these other big coins or companies, and it's all false what they're saying. So make sure you do your research and make sure that everything that's talked about is credible. Sonic's been around for a bit longer, so I do know that they've got some legitimacy, but with a completely new coin, you have to be a bit careful about if these partnerships are legit. So the other thing I look at in a coin is the tokenomics, and we're getting technical here, but in short, what tokenomics is it's the supply side and the demand side of the coin. So in terms of supply, you can look over here on CoinGecko, and you can see there's 3 different types of supply: circulating supply, total supply, and max supply. Circulating supply is basically, as it suggests, what's the total amount of coin supply that's on chain and available in the market. You can see it's all there on the chain and you're able to get it. This is important because there's a difference between this and usually the max supply. Like for example, with Bitcoin. Bitcoin only has 21 million Bitcoin available, but circulating it only has 19 million. So eventually it will hit max supply, but you need to consider this and what's going to happen moving forward. Total supply, on the other hand, considers basically what's the total amount of coins that have gone out minus the amount that has been burnt. And what happens is coins can be burnt by the owners in order to increase artificial scarcity. So you want to see if they're trying to artificially pump up the prices by reducing supply. So it's something to look at. And then max supply basically says what's the maximum amount of coins there's going to be. For some coins, and actually a lot of coins, the max supply is infinite. And that means that they're going to continue to increase the amount of coins at fair will, and they'll decide what they want to do. So often they'll increase the supply of coins to get a new project going, and that increases inflation and sometimes reduces the price. You have to be careful how many new coins they're producing. So for Sonic, they've got around 3 billion coins, and you need to consider, is this supply going to continue to go up? And it's something you need to research, because if the supply of the coin is going to continue to go up drastically, naturally that's going to decrease the actual price of the coin. So always keep an eye on the news. Is the supply going to continue to go up? So if you scroll down from up here, you can go down to tokenomics section, and that basically tells you of that supply, where's it being distributed. And generally what you want to see is, are they going to the right places? So 70% of it went into the initial circulating supply. That means for everyone else to get, retail investors like me are able to get some of this coin. Then there's block rewards after the first 4 years. So rewards for people that have invested. These block rewards are for the developers. These are people that have, built the coin and been able to do back-end development. So they're rewarding basically the people building the coin, and they're putting a lot of money into this. So I know that they're investing some money into developers, and that's a good thing. It means development is being prioritized, and then ongoing funding is about 7%. So that's kind of a blurry term. So where are they putting this ongoing funding? Then there's airdrops, which I would then need to look into if I'm doing research. But in terms of airdrops, what that meant for this coin was basically these rewards they did for people that basically were retail investors. They played games and did certain things. They were supposed to give them to the investors. And I know for a fact the airdrop didn't go well for this coin from research. But you want to look at, where's the supply going? Is it going to the right places? Are they going to the developers, or are they not? Are they going back to the inside investors and the people that are inside the blockchain and actually investing in the coin internally, ownership? So you want to look at where they're putting their priorities. If they're putting too much of it away to internal investors, it can be a bit worrying and it can look like a bad sign. The other thing you can look at is, I guess, the supply schedule. So where's the supply going to continue from here? And you can see a general slow trajectory. It's a guess at the moment, but you can kind of have a feeling on what's going to happen. But overall, from doing your research, you're able to have a look at where does the coin stand. Now, there's a lot more research that you can do, but from this, you can find a lot from the coin. My last tip is this: when you're researching a coin, continue to research. Don't stop researching, especially an alternative coin like this. It isn't like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's in its own separate area because it's a store of wealth. These guys are purely based on networks and what they have. So you want to continue to research. Do they have any new partnerships coming? Have they made any major mistakes? What's happening within their team? Are people leaving? Are there new people joining? Are there new investors coming in? What do these new investors want? So you've got to continue to look and make sure if the project suits what you want, and then you can decide from there if you want to be able to purchase. So as you can tell, research is a complex process, and it's something that takes a fair bit of practice. I wish I was perfect at being able to research, but I'd say I've come a fair way from where I've started. So what I've concluded from Sonic and having a look at it is that there's a lot of uncertainty. They don't have a lot of partnerships going right now with any major people, which means I'm unsure if their network is going to be able to grow. But I know that there was a past time when they were big. They've got these systems behind them. It's all about what happens next. And in terms of if I invest in them, that's something I've got to decide on, because overall it's pretty much a gamble, this kind of thing. And I'll look for more news on if any major partnerships start to form, and maybe I might move on them. That's my conclusion from this coin. However, you can do the same from your coin by following the steps below. Make sure you have a look at the description below to see some of the notes I've put in as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. It is a bit longer compared to my usual videos, and I hope you learned something new. You understand now how these coins are supposed to be researched and how you can find some of the major red flags in it and be able to understand what some good signs are and bad signs are in it. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe. I teach people how to invest in crypto as well as gold and silver. As the US dollar continues to go backwards, we need to know how to protect ourselves. And if you want to learn more about that, you can subscribe to my channel, Simply Sound Money, where I help investors to be able to get themselves into decentralized positions.